Konnichiwa, hello and welcome. This is Roy at Ninjazilla90, and today I will be reviewing a super cool, awesome figure from back in the day, and that is the NECA Godzilla 1984/85 figure from either the Japanese theatrical cut, Return of Godzilla, or the American theatrical cut starring Raymond Burr, Godzilla The Legend Reborn. So, with that said, sit back, relax, and grab a Dr. Pepper because I got some things to say about it. Unless you watch the American theatrical release of this movie, you won't get the Dr. Pepper reference, but anyway, let's get things started. And now, starting things off with the boxes, you know we gotta talk about really cool boxes on this channel when we have them. As you can see, this is the movie cover poster for the 1984 or 85 movie Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla The Legend Reborn. Well, this one is entitled Return of Godzilla because this is going off the Japanese cut. We have the Godzilla logo in the top right corner. Of course, we have the 1984/85 Godzilla front and center. Crazy fact about this movie, you know, rumor has it, a week or at least like a few days after this movie finished shooting, you know that, okay, there was a animatronic like Godzilla 84 or 85 they used in the movie, but they also had a suit version. I believe Gunpachiro Satsuma used, because this is the first in the Heisei series. The suit, while the actual 85/84 suit got stolen like a few days to like a week after they were finished filming, and it has never been recovered to this day. So, yeah. But anyway, we see the planes attacking them right there. We have the satellite missile about to fire at him, which, yeah, weren't supposed to be using nuclear weapons, but yeah, the Russians fired one at him, and the Americans intercepted it, according to, I'm going off the American plot for that, but anyway, we have dirty and Japanese writing I can't read. Excuse me. I just knocked down a controller, but anyway, we have, it says Godzilla right there in Japanese. I know the Japanese Godzilla font for Godzilla, so I know that. Of course, it says Godzilla and Return of Godzilla, which I've already mentioned. The top box, we have the Japanese Godzilla logo. We have Return of Godzilla again, the NECA logo in the top right, ages 14 and up, and a warning label. Choking hazard, letting you know that this is not food, it's not candy, it's not Laffy Taffy, it's not Skittles, it's not M&M's, and it's not McDonald's French fries, so don't look at this and get hungry and try to eat it, because it's not a Snickers bar. But anyway, side of the box, we have the same picture that's on the front. We have the Japanese Godzilla logo again, Return of Godzilla, and Godzilla's 65th anniversary, which was several years ago, and the same thing on the other side. Turn the box over to the back. Here's where things get interesting. We see different pictures with a bunch of 3 different cool poses you can put the figure in, with the city Tokyo backdrop looking really cool. Of course, it says it has the Godzilla logo. It says Return of Godzilla again. We have the TOHO logo, and we have the Godzilla logo. We have trademark TOHO company, and we have the plot for the movie. I'll leave it right there for you guys to read, so you can pause it and read it if you want to. Okay, and now the bottom of the box, we have the NECA logo, we have real toys, we have a serial number and an uninteresting barcode, and these symbols right there about recycling and keeping away from children under 3. So yeah, that's about it. That pretty much concludes it for the box. Now on to the figure. And now here we have the NECA Godzilla 1984/85 from the Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla the Legend Reborn. As you can see, this is a really cool, well sculpted, well detailed figure. He is the colorization is Godzilla's typical charcoal gray. The hand claws and tail claws are more of a darker weathered bone white colorization, but looking really good. Kind of more of a darker tan if you really look at it. Look at those hand claws and toe claws, but NECA did a good job with this one. We are yet to get a Godzilla 1985 out of either SH or Hiya Toys, which I would definitely like to see a Hiya Toys version. Especially we just got the announcement for the Heat Ray Godzilla 2000, which I am definitely going to have to get. But anyway, the head is also well sculpted. You can see those very fearsome Godzilla eyes in there. If I bring it up and put that light on so we can see it better, get a good close look at that. Get a good look at those dorsal spines, looking really nice. All the detail is really, really good, done very well. And now I will be going over articulation with this figure, starting with the upper body portion of the figure, working my way down to the lower body portion of the figure, and then getting more in depth with the rest of the figure, and then wrapping up the review with my final verdict. So let's get things started. And now getting things started with the upper body portion of the figure. As you can see, the head and the chest and everything is well sculpted. Articulation, the head can look up, it can look down, it can look right, it can look left. We can rotate the head all the way around a full 360. We can also rotate the head independently from the neck, although it's kind of stiff. We have jaw articulation. The jaw is on a hinge, so we can see all those finer details inside the mouth, looking really nice. We can see all those beautiful, sharp, pearly white teeth inside of his mouth. You can get a good look at those, a good close-up look at those upper dorsal spines there, looking really nice. We also have articulation in the waist, so we can rotate the waist all the way around a full 360 and all the way back. We don't have too much of an ab crunch though, so that kind of sucks, but these were $20 budget figures from back in the day, so don't expect a whole lot of bells and whistles out of these. We also have a good shoulder articulation, so we can bring the shoulders out about that much. We can bring them down about that much, although as you can see, they are very stiff. We can even rotate them all the way around a full 360. Like so. Same is true with the other arm. Yikes. Yeah. And back. Yeah, it is very hindered by the sculpt. That's what makes it stiff. But anyway, the elbows are also on a swivel hinge, so we can swivel those elbows all the way around a full 360. We also have a hinge at the elbow, so we can move them forward and back as well. We also have a swivel hinge at the wrist, so we can swivel that wrist and move it forward and back for that claw swiping action. Same is true with the other hand. Swivel all the way around and forward and back with the hinge. And that pretty much concludes it for the upper body portion of the figure, and now moving right along down to the lower body portion of the figure. And now moving right along down to the lower body portion of the figure. As you can see, the hips and the legs and the feet are well sculpted. The hips are on the ball joints. You can't really spread them out at all, but you can rotate them back about that much. You can't really go a full 360 because of the sculpt, but yeah, you can at least split them out about that much by rotating them, and then you can rotate them back. And let's see if we can. We can't go too much any further the opposite way, so that's a bummer. We also have a very stiff hinge in the knee, but yeah, it can bend, but as you can see, I am struggling just to get that to move. But it works. But yeah, I don't recommend doing it. It's doable, but yeah, it takes a lot of muscle power. And we do have sort of a swivel pivot in the feet, so we can swivel them all the way around, and we can also rock them forward and back as well, so we can point those toes down and up. So we do have a bit more articulation in the feet than we usually have with other NECA figures. And getting back to the tail is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articulation segments if you count the bendy wire tip, but I'm not going to bend it because I never bend my bendy wires because I don't want to rip them. But we can move the tail a little bit like so. We do have some good little decent fluid range of motion in the tail, but it's not a whole lot. But I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than the tail just being one solid piece that just sits there, but it is what it is. And I overall like this figure. It's not bad. I think that the tail has some good detail to it. The figure overall has some good detail to it. The 85/84 design is one of my favorite Godzilla designs, and I cannot wait for either SH Monster Arts or, better yet, Hiya Toys to make their own version, which would be better than the NECA version. But anyway, guys, it is now time to get more in depth with the figure and take a closer look at him before we get into my final verdict. And now getting a bit more in depth with the figure, getting a closer look at this figure. We can see all the finer details. We have his little bitty small Godzilla ears, both on each side. Like I said, we have all those finer details inside the mouth. We have all that good stuff. I mean, his chest and his belly is well sculpted. The underside of the figure is well sculpted. I can't really say too many negative things about this figure, except for the fact that the knee joints are like really stiff, but I'm not taking points off of that because, I mean, these are $20 figures from back in the day, but I mean, I did have to take points off some of the Power Rangers, a lot of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures because of that, because, yeah, I don't feel like for their design, like, they should be having stiff joints, but, I mean, stiff joints with these are to be expected, especially in the knees, because, yeah, Godzilla figures, especially in the NECA line, gets really thick, you know, especially in the leg area, so that's to be expected. But anyway, that pretty much concludes it for my review on this figure. And now to get into my final verdict and giving you guys my final thoughts and opinions on this figure and giving him a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability. So let's get to it. And now for my final verdict on the NECA Godzilla 1984/85 figure from either The Return of Godzilla or Godzilla the Legend Reborn. If I have to give this figure a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give him a well-deserved, very honest 4.5 stars. Why? I believe this is a very good figure. I like it. I like it a lot. Although I said I wasn't going to take points off for stiff joints, I think I have to, because then that's not being fair to other figures. So, I mean, this could have been better in the knees. But overall, I think this is a good figure. I like the detail. I think NECA really knocked it out of the park when they did the dorsal spines. I know that there is a older version of this figure where the dorsal spines are smaller and they're more of a lighter color. NECA really corrected that with this one, and I definitely appreciate that. Which I am glad I started collecting NECA figures later on, not early on in the line. So I mean, I got the better 85 out of the bunch, so that is good. Like I said, we still have good articulation with these figures, so that's not too much of a complaint. But like I said, I think, like I said, I wasn't going to take points off, but I have to. I think that some of the joints didn't need to be as stiff as they were, or as they are. So, yeah. So hopefully, if Hiya Toys or SH Monster Arts makes those, hopefully those joints aren't as stiff. Hiya Toys I can definitely trust more than Monster Arts, because at those I don't feel would pop apart as much as Monster Arts, but sometimes Hiya Toys figures do tend to pop apart in some areas, but it's not as bad as Monster Arts because you're not paying nearly as much. But anyway, guys, I hope you've all enjoyed this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys very much for watching, if you made it to this point, if you made it this far into the video. And as always, love you all, stay safe, take care, God bless, and peace out.